transition to the new normal, we have left others behind. We need to reimagine and redesign our educational system. With the collective effort of schools, sponsors, and TagPro's learning management system, and core of passionate teachers, we can deliver free education and champion the cause of our students. Together, we would be able to teach, inspire, and serve, because TagPros believes that education is a right all children deserve.
When the pandemic was officially announced and the whole country was in a lockdown, we were thinking, how are we going to end the school year?
How can St. Peter's College of Armonk continue on with its mission to provide holistic quality education?
I was really grasping for answers and talking to experts, consulting to parents and all. It was really a terrible moment.
It also didn't help that the pandemic started in the middle of the academic year, and so we had to act fast.
Others have suggested that maybe we can temporarily close our school for a while, but some of us have this kind of hope that we can just carry on.
We want to bring our education in a different level, and we know that technology is the answer.
By using virtual platforms, we were able to continue this year with a partnership with Globe through Brightspace.
When we got to Brightspace, we were able to continue a consistent quality of education. And when that arrived, we were now able to have a stable class. We were able to submit activities freely and at our own pace.
It has really helped our teachers in order to deliver their modules, their content to our students.
The ease of sharing content, real-time assessment, and structured learning process in the system of Brightspace made the learning life of every member of our community exciting and better.
Through Brightspace, we were able to see that yes, we can restore some semblance of normal life with the aid of technology.
This pandemic brought a really huge change which pushed us to innovate.
One of the best investments you can make is Brightspace for you to use to deliver your quality education to your students.
We transition to the new normal, we have left others behind. We need to reimagine and redesign our educational system. With the collective effort of schools, sponsors, and TagPro's learning management system, and core of passionate teachers, we can deliver free education and champion the cause of our students. Together, we would be able to teach, inspire, and serve, because TagPros believes that education is a right all children deserve.
Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Jay Toscano, co-founder and Chief Program Officer of TagPro Education. And again, it's my pleasure to present to you the newest installment of our webinar workshop series, Welcome to Wellbeing for Teachers and Students in the Pandemic. So it's our third month together, dear teachers. Thank you for being with TagPros and with our partner presenters or co-presenters for the different workshop that we have a month ago and 2 months ago. So if you could remember, during the June webinar series, our maiden webinar series, we talk about advancing online learning with the best strategies and approaches that we can have. Of course, we had the TagPros teacher pioneers as the main speakers. A month ago, July, a month ago, we talked about assessment, online assessment, and how we can further improve the way we do assessment at this time of the pandemic. And we were very lucky to have very important or very helpful and experts who have been really helping us with how to understand online assessment. For this month of August, we will be shifting gears, and instead of focusing simply on the academic aspect of education, especially education at this time of the pandemic, we are focusing for the month of August on helping teachers, you dear teachers, and our students develop strategies that may help them or you cope mentally and emotionally with the challenges presented by the current situation, our new normal right now. So please expect that starting today and until the last Saturday of August, we will be discussing about mental well-being, self-care for teachers and for our students in various different ways. So the webinar workshop series is brought to you by TagPros Education, an up and coming online K-12 education marketplace where passion takes the lead in learning. And of course, our partner, Globe Telecom, the country's leading telecommunication provider, who are again with us with their generous support for us. They will be again giving us GCash prizes that will be part of our raffle draw starting this August. This event is also made possible by the International Cooperation Office under the leadership of Director Margarita Consolacion Ballesteros, Teacher Education Network managed by Mr. Gino Luwayon, and of course the next series of Xavier School Computer Education. Before we proceed, a few reminders. Please practice responsible digital citizenship and refrain from sharing personal information in the comment section, and that includes your email or your GCash account number. Let's all be respectful to one another in the comment section as we share your insight. It's okay to agree, it's okay to disagree, but we have to do it in a more professional manner because, all of us are teachers and we are here to learn from each other. Another reminder, registering for the webinar workshop or just watching the webinar workshop doesn't make you eligible for an e-certificate. If you want to receive an e-certificate for our webinar workshops, you have to answer or you have to watch our webinar, answer the evaluation forms that we will be releasing after every session. And after we open the form, you only have a week to answer the evaluation, and we will be closing this one on Friday, 11:59 p.m. After that, no matter if you watch the webinar workshop or register to it, you cannot answer the evaluation form anymore. So we hope that you understand and remember this also in the name of fairness and of course for every teacher who are also exerting their effort to watch the webinar series. All right. So I know some of you may be wondering if we are going to have a raffle draw for this month's webinar workshop. And the answer is yes. And once again, we are joined by Globe Telecom, and they will be giving away 500 pesos to 7 lucky participants. But before we go there, I'll be announcing the winners for the previous webinar raffle draw. So let me just see if we can flash on the screen the winners for the last series, the July webinar series, July 31. So before we could announce, let me see if we can have it. These are the winners for the July 31, the last webinar series that we have during our online assessment session. And we want to give a special and massive shout out to ZQ EdTech IT Solutions for sponsoring this for our July webinar series. So let me make the screen bigger. So for July 31, let me congratulate Paul C. Esmeralda, May, Giselle A. Sagun, Maria Teresa Austria, May L. Aguilar, and Emilio Galvez. Again, one more time, Paul C. Esmeralda, May Glizel Sagun, Maria Teresa K. Austria, May L. Aguilar, and Emilia M. Galvez. So congratulations to everyone. Congratulations to everyone. This is our the last set of the winners for the July webinar series on online assessment. And again, massive shout out to ZQ EdTech IT Solutions for sponsoring this last set of winners for the July webinar series. All right. So thank you. That's all our winners for July 31. So also this August, we have Globe as our main sponsor for the GCash prizes. So to enter our raffle draw to the lucky uh, 500 peso GCash prize winner for today's webinar workshop, all you need to do is to complete the evaluation form on www.tagpros.org at the end of the session. Follow the social media pages of Facebook and YouTube and even of Globe. And then raffle winners will be announced in the next week session. So next week we'll be announcing the winners for this Saturday. Again, live on Tag Pros session. All right. Again, only GCash account holders are allowed to participate. So don't forget to download the GCash app available at Google Play and Apple Store and create your GCash account today. This raffle draw is made possible by none other than Globe Telecom, the country's leading telecommunications provider. All right. So, what you're waiting for, please make sure that you watch, go through our webinar and participate actively. Invite your family and friends to our webinar workshop today. By the way, our webinar workshop this August is also meant to support teachers and students. So you may share this to anyone who wants to know more about well-being at this time of the pandemic. All right. So I hope our audience is as excited as I am to welcome our speaker for today. To open the webinar series on well-being, it's my honor to introduce our speaker, Ms. Cristine De Leon Alcala. Cristine Alcala is a graduate of Bachelor of Elementary Education, major in teaching in the early grades from the University of the Philippines, Diliman. She took up family ministry and counseling in CEFAM, Ateneo de Manila University, and got her certification as a life coach from the Life Coach Training Institute based at Dallas, Texas. She is a member of Life Coach Philippines, and prior to being certified as a life coach, Christine spent over 20 years as a teacher and as a campus minister. At present, Christine works as a life coach to students and teachers of Key School, Manila, and the owner of You Matter Coaching Services, where she facilitates workshops and give talks to different institutions about mental health, self-leadership, and emotional resilience. She also does private coaching to individuals and groups. So we are so honored to welcome Life Coach Tin or Coach Tin as our speaker today.
Hello, good afternoon to everyone. Hi, Jim. Nice to be seeing you, working with you again. Hello. So do we start already? Do we start, Jim? Okay, I guess you have to start already. I was actually waiting for my name to come out there in the raffle. So hopefully after this, I'll be included in the raffle draw already of Anoha. So you have to promise me that. Okay, so hello everyone. As in, I can't see everyone. I can't. I only see my face now, but I am very excited to be with everyone today. And since I cannot see everyone, I need to get to have a feel of how you are today, even if I don't see you face to face. So we have to really utilize our chat box, or for those who are watching live in YouTube or YouTube. Facebook Live. You can also join us in the discussion. So let's begin. So from the title itself, no, what's love got to do with it? Uh, you can already guess what we are going to talk about and what the focus of the discussion would be. And I'm pretty sure that some of you have read a lot of articles already, during about self-love during these tough times, no. um, I'm certain that you have uh, read a lot of quotes from Facebook or from books and everywhere, no, about self-love. But what do we really mean by loving ourselves, no? What do we mean by that? Does it mean that we become selfish? Does it mean that loving ourselves in a narcissistic way? Or we can even ask ourselves at this point, no, what is keeping us to love ourselves that in return will be able to love others deeply? So I would like you to see this concept as, loving ourselves, or self-love, as the most effective emotional management tool. So we're not only talking about during the pandemic or during this difficult time, but in any time of your life. I think if there's one thing that this pandemic made us realize, is that we all have to value our well-being, and that begins with you loving yourself. But let's concretize that, no, because sometimes it's just an idea, no, oh, you have to love yourself, you have to care for yourself and all. But sometimes it's really it's really concretizing it that's difficult. So in this session, no, I hope to be able to dig into this and see what keeps us from doing this, and what what are the ways we can show this love to ourselves. So let me begin by, of course, asking how the participants are. So I'll just be flashing some questions again. Maybe the team of Jim can help me monitor, the answer of people, or highlight some of the answers of the people. And we will just be doing this quickly because we still have so many things to talk about. Okay. First is, okay, question number one. What did you learn new about yourself during this pandemic? Go. I would like to see comments and words from all of you. If there's something new you learned about yourself during this pandemic, what would it be? Can you please share with us? Go. Okay. Self-loving is happiness within. Wow, ang dami. Self-loving. Okay. Okay, is happiness within. Sige. Keep it coming, keep it coming. Resilience. Okay. The use of gadgets and teaching. Definitely, I also learned that. Okay. Keep it coming, guys. So I'm reading it, I'm monitoring it. Okay, let's go to the next question. So this is my check, no? You're actively participating and listening to the discussion today. Okay, next. What are you most proud of the things you were able to do this pandemic? Give time to myself, especially health, to become unselfish. Nako, it's good to talk about that later, no, to become unselfish. But we Filipinos kasi tend to always think of other people first before ourselves. Is that selfishness? Okay, let's see. Let's see the next question. What made you laugh the hardest during this quarantine? Okay, type it in, guys. What made you laugh the hardest this quarantine period? Okay. I'm monitoring the chat box also. Having time for myself. Wait. To be patient, be with family. Okay, I parang late ko na nakikita yung mga answer niya. I was able to crochet. Okay, parang those are answers kanina, no? Sige na nga, I'll just continue. Okay, sige. Next question, guys. What do you want to do differently this school year? It can be personal, and professional, or it can be personal or professional, it can be both. What is something that you want to do differently this school year? Okay, I can see some comments. I'll read some of them. Dog. Okay, so you good afternoon. Quality time with my family during family bonding. What do you want to do differently to be with friends? To be with friends, closer to God. Oh, definitely we need that. Avoid stress. Okay, I like the word that you said used. Avoid stress. But can we really avoid stress? Become competent. Apply or my learning from. It's too fast that I can't catch up anymore. Okay, let's go to the next question. What's working well now? What are you most grateful for? What are you most grateful for? So, despite the difficulties, I'm sure your heart have been focused on the things that you are thankful for. And can you share these things with us? Okay. Live the normal life. I guess this is for a question a while ago. To love my family more, to be productive. What are you most grateful for? To be creative and effective. I'm seeing it late, sorry. My job as a teacher, may sweldo kahit may pandemic. That's true. That's true. So grateful that we are all safe. Yes, I'm grateful that my family are healthy. I still I still have my job. I'm grateful for the progress I'm doing. May it be little. I like that. No, very appreciative of the small wins, and of course our big wins also. Okay. Thank you for participating. Thank you for your inputs. Okay. Sige, let's go to the next slide already. Um, we can't deny the fact na during this pandemic, no, despite being grateful for all these things, um, really we can't avoid feeling stressed out. No, I read that I read that a while ago. Someone actually mentioned that. No, avoid stress, but can we really avoid stress? Teaching is a very stressful job. Okay. Why? Because we put our emotions to it, right? You work so hard on doing what is expected of you as a teacher, and most of the time, even beyond the call of duties. Sorry for the spelling or the typo error. So that makes teaching very stressful because you're not only doing the physical work, but really the entire your and whole heart is actually given to this profession. So it's really stressful, and I think wherever you are, no, you can't really avoid stress, but definitely we can do something to manage them. Okay, and so you think, no, with all the things that you've experienced last year, especially last year, sa first year of implementation of the remote learning, no? Um, I think yung mantra is every day is just to survive. I just want to survive this, I just want to survive this year. 'Di ba? I just want to survive this year. But I'm pretty sure you know that there is a big difference between surviving and thriving. And uh and I'm sure that we do not only want to survive in this stressful time or in this difficult time. We want to thrive, right? We want to thrive. We want to flourish, right? But let us check: are we really thriving or just surviving? Okay, but let's see the difference first between these two words. Okay, when we say surviving, it is a grim struggle, just barely getting by. So I'm sure that most of us felt that during the first few months of online learning, no, we're telling ourselves, parang isang buwan lang, I just need to get through this and I'm okay na. Parang I just need time to learn all these things and I'll be okay already, no? But really, the excitement, parang questionable pa. Am I really excited about this new setup? Am I really going to be okay in this setup? Wala pang ganun, right? So, um, all of us, our mindset before was just to survive weekly or daily in with the things that we do, right? But when we say thriving is living and thinking abundantly. No, it was a struggle for all of us to have that mindset. But I'm not saying that it was actually impossible to have this mindset, but it was slower for some people to reach this part wherein we're saying na, yes, I can see a lot of opportunities in this situation and all. Okay. Surviving is a drag, a daily slog to stay alive. Okay. And we have seen ourselves feel that. We have witnessed how it feels to be in that situation. No? Just parang just staying alive for every day. That's the goal. No? Parang hindi lang ako mag-breakdown, okay na ako, right? And then last, thriving is joyful and infectious. And of course, we want that. We want to have that. We want our disposition to be contagious. But what kind of disposition are you actually showing, right? So how do we thrive then? What keeps us from thriving? Okay. This question parang reminds me of this part, no? This part in the movie Kung Fu Panda. Okay, let's just see this clip and see which resonates with us, or what part are we able to relate with. Okay, considering the question, how do we thrive, or what keeps us from thriving? Let's watch this. Okay. So from that clip, uh, I'm pretty sure that some of you were able to relate to the disposition of Poe the panda, right? He had a lot of self doubt. He can't even see himself as potential. Hello. Oh, I'm sorry. I was told that the video didn't have audio a while ago. I'm so sorry about that. Okay. Never mind. Let's just proceed. No. So it was Poe was doubting himself. No, parang he was told by the tigress, "You don't belong here." So Poe started feeling bad about it, and he was saying, I don't belong here." And when the it was the turtle, what was the what was the name of the turtle, that was Master Ugwe was saying, "Oh, you were upset." And then Poe didn't even realize that he was actually upset. He was stress eating in that scene. No, he was stress eating in that scene. And then Poe was saying, "I don't belong here. Maybe I just go back to making noodles." And then Master Ugwe was saying, "You know what? You have to ano, you have to you don't know, no? You don't know why." um Parang Master Ugwe is saying that you don't really know if you're not able to focus in the now. So Master Ugwe is saying, focus on the now, because life is here in the now, right? So the reason why I chose that clip is because it says something about mindfulness, no? Living life mindfully, and it has something to do with self-love. Later, we'll discuss more of that, okay? And again, let me see. Thriving. If we really want to start with our journey of self-love, we always have to choose that. We always have to choose it deliberately, because thriving is a choice, right? Parang good things, yes, of course, good things happen every time, right? But we always have to consciously choose, diba? Choose all these things. So thriving is a choice, okay? We have to make deliberate choices, and those choices should reflect our values and goals, right? Especially our values, right? All these choices. If you say you value your well-being, if you say you value your work, your job as a teacher, if you say you value your family, your choices should reflect that value or those values. And so we have to start when we say we are choosing self-love, we have to start choosing self-compassion. And I like this study by Christine Guinev. No, she made a study on the science of self-compassion, and she discussed three important components of the science of self-compassion. One is self-kindness, next is mindfulness, and number three is common humanity. And we will discuss each of them. Okay. So when we choose self-compassion, okay, let's define self-compassion first. Self-compassion can be defined as being kind and understanding when confronted with personal feelings. So how many of us actually was able to do that during those times that we were struggling, learning everything about online learning, or online teaching? I have to say that during the first few months of learning about Zoom, learning about those apps, no, conducting my sessions online until now, actually, before we even begin, Jim was teaching me how to screen share in StreamYard. So I still don't know, no, but I have to admit that during the first few months, I was really feeling insecure, and I was telling myself, sana physical setup na lang, because I know my capabilities when it comes to, delivering sessions face to face. But really online learning pushed us to see those things that we are not yet good at, but recalling all those moments, how was your disposition? Were you criticizing yourself? Were you beating up yourself and say you're not going to make it because you don't know how to do those things? Or you're not going to make it because you don't even know um, apps that will help students be engaged in your lessons, right? So how was your disposition then? 'Di ba? How was the self-talk happening within, right? What was the quality of the self-talk then? Okay? We have to choose self-love. Okay? And when we say self-love, it's a state of appreciation for oneself that grows from action that support our physical, psychological, and spiritual growth. So this is about you practicing self-care. And when we say self-care, iba-iba yan, right? Iba-ibang dimension. We have the mental self-care, the emotional self-care, physical self-care, social self-care, and spiritual self-care. But Koshaba is saying that when you choose self love, everything that you do should enhance all these dimensions. So, for some of you, parang taking care of their well being had to be, taking care of the plants, taking care of the pets, doing physical exercise, right? All those new routines that you had to do to be able to not survive but thrive, no, thrive in this setup. Okay, so those are part of choosing to love yourself. Okay, and of course when you say self-love, you also have to choose to reframe, like seeing a situation as the same situation in a different perspective. Because if we get stuck with how we see things, uh the way we saw them before, it's going to be difficult to actually move forward, because see we cannot view self-care, for example, the same way, no, the same way as we view self-care now. If before, during the physical setup, parang it's good because everything was normal. I mean, you don't really have to. Some of us do not really pay attention to us being tired, us being burned out, and all, because there were a lot of things happening around us then, right? But when we talk about self care in this stressful time, some of us were really able to, come up with different ways. For example, in my case, I really had to start my mindfulness, mindfulness routine before doing my sessions. As in, before doing work in the morning, I have to do that, and that's a form of self care for me. But during the physical setup, it wasn't really part of my routine, because part of my routine was, parang talk to my coworkers or talk to my colleagues. That was the first thing I do when I get to the office, right? So uh when we say we use self-love as a self-management tool, part of that is seeing the same things in a different perspective. So we reframe it. For example, again, productivity. If before, during the physical setup, um, we view productivity as, work, 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 without really taking a break. Now it won't apply anymore, especially those who are working at home, wherein the boundaries have become or there were blurred already because of the setup at home, right? Especially for those mommies who are taking care of their children, or sila rin yung nagtuturo sa mga anak nila, right? So what I want you to realize that when we talk about productivity, it includes taking a break, right? And when we say taking a break, it depends, 'di ba? It depends on different people, no, how to utilize that break. Some of you would really just, take a nap. Some of you would watch their favorite series in Netflix. That's taking a break. But what's important is that you devote time for taking a break. It doesn't mean that because you're just at home. Actually, there is that idea that since you're working from home, maybe you can accommodate more work. No, it's not true, because at home you're not only a teacher, you're not only an employee, right? You're also a mother, you're also a wife, and for the boys of mine, you're also a husband to your wife, and a father to your children, right? So there's so many things. No, you're not a one dimensional person to say that you only focus on your work. So again, choose to reframe productivity, because at this point, I think if you still feel guilty taking a break, that's the time to reframe that, to have to have that mindset reframe by telling yourself that it's okay to take a break, because if you do not take a break, all the more that you will experience burnout, right? And we can also reframe our view on expectations, meaning if during the physical setup you feel that, yeah, I've excelled, doing all these things, you have to check your expectations for yourself at this point. Is it really a reasonable expectation to do all these things while you take care of the family, while you are supposed to take care of yourself, right? So check that. And you can also reframe looking at grief, no? When we say grief, we're not only talking about losing a loved one, but when we talk about grief, it's also no it's also being sad or feeling sad about the opportunities we're not able to have because of this setup. And you have to allow yourself to feel that. You have to grieve over those things, right? Lost opportunities, relationship that did not flourish, all those things can be part of that feeling grief. I know some people who would feel guilty saying that, yeah, I feel sad now, because they would always say na, I don't have the right to feel sad because I still have my work, I still have my family is safe, I'm still healthy. But you see, when we talk about emotions, the first thing that you have to do is just to allow yourself to feel all these emotions. You don't have to over rationalize it and say, no, you're not supposed to feel that because see, you're still blessed, blah blah blah. But see, again, loving yourself means allowing yourself to feel all these emotions. But I'm not saying that when you allow yourself to feel those emotions, you get stuck with the same emotion over and over again. Okay? Allow yourself to feel the emotion, but then have the awareness on what to do next. Okay? What to do next. You just do not get stuck with the same emotion. Okay? And when we say flexibility, okay, reframe that. We are expected to, or not really expected, but it would help, no, it would help if you have that psychological flexibility that we need at this point, because times are different, times are difficult. If you don't have that psychological flexibility, meaning if you're stuck with the same routine, if you're stuck with the same mindset, it's not going to help you, and it's not showing self-love, right? Okay. And then, of course, you have to check also how you see stress. Some people would say, we can avoid stress. But We can't avoid stress. But what should our disposition be when we talk about stress? You have to recognize that stress can be, yes, can be bad for us, but it can also be good for us, because kinds there are certain kind of stress that um push us to uh excel or to do more for ourselves in a way that we'll be happy and feel fulfilled, and in a way that we will be able to develop resilience. So it's okay also. So it doesn't mean that you always have to avoid stress, because again, there are situations that are very stressful, but at the same time, if you're able to go beyond all the things, or if you're able to accomplish that task that's um, um, causing that stressful feeling, I'm sure you will feel the fulfillment in your heart and say, I was able to do that. Last year's online learning was definitely very stressful, right? There were things that we needed to set aside to manage our stress, but there are stressful situations that when we go back to or recall all those moments, we'll realize that, hey, parang it added resilience on my part just because I have allowed myself to go through that, right? Okay, let's go. And of course, you have to choose steady progress. And when we say practicing self-love in terms of choosing to make progress, a steady progress, meaning it doesn't have to always be a big thing, no. Make sure that it is steady enough that you can see progress daily. Okay, and it would help if you consider setting a goal that is smart. We all know that. Now, when we say smart goals, it should be specific, measurable, attainable, relevant, and time bound, right? So those people who are targeting, for example, um, working on their physical health, sometimes it would not help if you tell yourself, okay, tomorrow I'll start really eating healthy, or doing exercises. Sometimes it's more disappointing, it's more frustrating if you set that goal na parang I'll end all the bad habits I have, because definitely it does not work that way. You have to make um small commitments or small choices every day to actually live a healthy life. So for example, if you are into eating fast food, or food from fast food, um you don't it's not gonna work if you tell yourself, okay, give them all up right away. I mean, for example, in a week, no, maybe you have to plan your meal. So you can tell yourself that, okay, maybe Monday will be a healthy eating day for me, so no junk food for me. That way you don't have to deprive yourself, or you don't have parang you won't feel deprived, because you're trying to your desire to live a healthy life is being supported with all those little little steps that you can make, right? You don't overwhelm yourself making all grand plans, and then at the end you're not able to fulfill it because it's really not attainable, right? So in terms of your in terms of the mental aspect of your life, you have to make enough time for activities that mentally stimulates you. Okay, reading a book or watching documentary shows, right? Anything that will stimulate your mind. Of course, emotionally, you have to be able to come up with activities into your life that will help you feel recharged. So whatever it is, no, For some, planting can really help. For some, adopting pets is really helpful. For some, um, connecting with other people, and that's also under the social aspect of your life. No, do activities that nurture your relationship with friends and family. Okay, it doesn't always have to be every day that you have to talk to your friends and talk to your family, but devote a particular time. For example, in if for example daily, you want to talk to your senior citizen parent, but if it's impossible to actually devote an hour to talk to them because you're also working, you're also doing you're also doing your chores at home, just devote 5 minutes of your time daily to have a short chat with them. That's already okay, right? So, and the spiritual aspect, um you have to consider the questions that you ask yourself at this point, because definitely the quality of your questions, okay, the quality of your questions will help you be able to um have that life that you want. So make sure that you ask questions about your life and experiences. You're able to reflect on your day. You're able to reflect on your life, especially this pandemic. So many opportunities to really reflect on how we do things, right? So that way you don't really have to make big big decisions to change drastically, because some most of the time it does not work that way. You have to commit to doing little actions daily that will change your behavior, and again, it's your ability to choose the things that are good for you. Okay, next. Of course, choose mindfulness. This is what I really talk about and promote, no, every time I have this chance to talk to people about mental health. Mindfulness is awareness that arises through paying attention on purpose in the present moment in a non-judgmental manner, in the service of self-understanding and wisdom. I'm sorry again about the video that did not have an audio a while ago, but basically Master Ugwe was saying, focus on the now. What's happening on the now, Po, is very important, because Poe was judging himself, was judging himself there and saying, I'm not good enough, I'm not gonna make it, I'm not gonna be a dragon warrior, right? But when we say mindfulness, it's just really your ability to pay attention to your feelings, your emotions, okay, your thoughts, okay, all these things. And it can also be being mindful with your physical surroundings, no? Why am I promoting this concept, this mindfulness thing? It helps us a lot. I personally was helped by this practice, no? During times of anxiety, you really have to be mindful of your thoughts. You have to be mindful of what to allow to enter your mind, especially during stressful times. You don't want to add to the stress you're feeling because you're entertaining thoughts that are actually beyond your control, right? But if you are mindful that, hey, these thoughts should not be in my head at this point because this does not have a space there, you can tell yourself, okay, wait, set that parang you can set aside that thought and say, okay, it's okay that I'm having those thoughts, but it's not okay to allow that thought to stay longer in your mind. So just being mindful with your own thoughts can help you have a calmer disposition, right? Because the reason why sometimes we're very anxious or we're too anxious is because there are thoughts that are spiraling our energy down already to the point that we tell ourselves, I can't control them anymore. They're so unruly there in my head. But really, just allowing all these thoughts to pass, meaning, parang you're imagining yourself watching bubbles go up and then suddenly touching it and bursting it. That's how we deal with our anxious thoughts and our um, difficult emotions, right? You acknowledge that they're there, but it doesn't mean that you get stuck within, right? Okay. And sometimes, I've realized, talking about mindfulness, sometimes the difficulty is people get intimidated with the word mindfulness. But when we talk about mindfulness, it's just really doing things that will help you calm down. So, whatever it is, of course, definitely breathing can help you calm down. There's a science to it, right? So, you're allowing more oxygen to enter your brain. So, mas calmer yung disposition when you breathe. And breathing can also remind you that you are still alive, facing this present moment. And there is so much life in the present moment, right? Life is happening in the present moment. So you can just focus on that. So again, when you're too anxious or when you're too stressed already, take time to breathe. Later we'll have an exercise. Um, we'll have a mindful exercise uh, with everyone later. Okay. Next, mindfulness can also mean you trying new things, right? You allow yourself to learn new things. That's also mindfulness. It's also telling yourself, hey, I have been stuck in this kind of routine. Maybe it's time for me to choose something else, something that will really help me physically, emotionally, spiritually, mentally, and socially, right? Mindfulness can mean that you choose the upside view, meaning if we tend to always focus on the negative side of things, try challenging yourself, looking at the situation in a different perspective. Again, reframing, right? So maybe some of you would have an automatic thought that, hey, I'm not gonna make it, or this work really sucks. Maybe it's time to ask yourself, okay, what's working well now? Okay, that's one way to choose the upside view. What's working well now? And what am I grateful for? That's the reason why I chose those questions. No? Those questions are actually the questions that we had before we formally begin with the talk are form of mindfulness. You being mindful of the disposition you're having now, being mindful of the things you are grateful for, right? We all know that um gratitude is really one way to practice self-love, because every little things that are happening in your life can be a form of blessing, but you need to be mindful for you to be able to say that those things are actually blessings, right? Okay, mindfulness can mean relaxation techniques. So these are progressive, it's the same thing, no? Progressive muscle relaxation, or anything, any activity that calms you down. Again, breathing. And when we say progressive muscle relaxation, it's really just focusing on areas in your body. For example, when you say, okay, I want to focus first on the head area, you have to check, no, where the tension is. If you're the type of person who'd always experience migraine, you have to check if the migraine is actually a symptom of anxiety or stress. So you have to ano, you have to check that. But usually actually the physical symptoms that we have are manifestation of our emotional state. So check that. And if you're not mindful enough, you will not be able to recognize that the physical the physical illness you're having is are symptoms of being stressed, anxious, or depressed. Okay, so when you see muscle progressive muscle relaxation, focus on your head and see where the tension where you're feeling the tension. And for example, you're feeling the tension in your head because you're having a headache. You start focusing there, and then breathe in and breathe out. And then after doing that, for several times, you will feel the tension is being released. Okay, again, focus on the headache, breathe in and breathe out. And maybe you can ask yourself, where is that headache coming from? Or what made you feel, what happened before having that headache? You'll be able to, root where that headache is coming from. So maybe something happened a while ago. I talked to this person, and after talking to that person, I felt this headache already. So it can be a form of anxiety, or it can be a form of stress. Okay. Writing your own script can be one mindfulness exercise, meaning, okay, you have to guard the narratives that happen in your head. Again, when we are not mindful, we tend to allow stories that are negative, and those negative stories affect our disposition. So if you're the type of person to always say, I'm not gonna be successful in this setup, or I'm so tamad, I don't like I don't like what my boss is asking me to do, blah blah blah, all these negative things. Or maybe uh I'm not gonna survive this, I'm not gonna survive this pandemic, right? If you keep on allowing all these negative thoughts in your head, your disposition will definitely manifest those things. So you have to guard the story that's happening inside your head. Okay, and you can always choose to always create stories that are empowering, create stories that make you feel good. And as a result, you also make other people feel good, right, about themselves, about the things that are happening. It's also a form of mindfulness when you're able to reach your goals. So again, that's why going back to setting smart goals, the reason why it's important to just set smart goals is because we do not want you to feel frustrated just because you're not able to reach your goals, 'di ba? So kailangan manageable yung goals nyo. As a coach, I do that with students, with teachers, and my clients, no? Making sure that yes, it's good to set goals, but make sure that your goals are manageable, attainable, kasi realistic siya, right? Okay. And of course, self-love is also choosing joy and sense of humor. There's actually this study, you will see this, you if you can screenshot the link, that's the study made by these authors, no, about joy and sense of humor, saying that it's having a sense of humor can actually lead us to being resilient people. And Filipino people are known to have a great sense of humor. That's why we're also branded as resilient people, right? So when we talk about sense of humor, it's not the sense of humor that humiliates other people, but really your ability to see the brighter side of things. It's your ability to laugh at your own mistakes. It's your ability to laugh at yourself when you're struggling, right? And there's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with that. It makes you develop resilience when you have that trait. So Go ahead, laugh. That's why that's also included in our questions a while ago. No? What made you laugh the hardest this quarantine? So, for other people, it's watching YouTube videos. For other people, watching their favorite funny Netflix series, right? And for other people, just really making jokes with friends. Go ahead, do that. Okay, next. Of course, the third component from Christine D. Neff's study of science of self-compassion is common humanity. What does that mean? Common humanity is just really reminding ourselves that we are all human, capable of amazing, heroic things. We make mistakes and we struggle. We are all vulnerable and imperfect. And this common humanity will actually remind us of the most important thing in this stressful time, to be empathic, right? To be able to understand how others are also struggling with the same situation that we are all in, right? So I can just imagine when you are very aware of your own humanity, I think it's easier for you to understand what your students are also going through at this point, right? This is very basic. No, some teachers can't even understand why their students can even turn on their videos. Some teachers are too controlling to the point that they think that the students who are doing that are just pasaway, or not following the rules. But really, I've seen some students, no, the reason why they can't even turn on their cameras is because they do not want other people to see what's really happening inside their houses, which is sometimes there are, you know fights between parents. There are noises that they do not want other people to hear, see. Um, and sometimes it's frustrating for the teachers, not to see students feeling unmotivated or not engaged in their lessons. But again, common humanity should remind us that, hey, um, this student must be struggling also. This student must be going through tough times. And you, as a teacher, part of your role is to know what this student is going through and how to actually help the student. But again, you can only have that kind of empathy when you're able to practice that to yourself, when you're able to tell yourself that, hey, it's okay to feel sad, it's okay to struggle, it's okay to ask help, right? When you have that openness, and when you have that sense of vulnerability, I think it would be easier for you to really reach out to other to your students or to your co-workers without really doubting their intention, or without really doubting every actions they have, right? So this one is very important, no, especially in this difficult time, especially in stressful moments, no, because it's easier to blame other people when things are not going well anymore. But when you are reminded that, hey, everyone makes mistakes, um, and everyone is able to really come up with something great. I mean, it's going to be easy for us to build that meaningful relationship with everyone. And when we say meaningful relationship, it's also one of the highlights of this pandemic. No, we've realized that really social distancing is something, is a difficult task to do, because we've realized that we are social beings. We want to be connected with people. We want to be connected with everyone. So again, um, choosing self love means practicing self kindness, being reminded of your common humanity, and of course, practicing mindfulness. Okay, so at this point, we're almost done, but I want you to ask this question first. How are you showing love to yourself at this point? Okay, maybe you can comment down again in our chat box so we can you can share your inputs. How are you showing your love to yourself at this point, right? And as you do that, I want to share this quote from Russ Harris. He said that learn that there is no point in beating yourself up when you screw up or fail to follow through. Guilt trips and self criticism don't motivate you to make meaningful changes, they just keep you stuck dwelling on the past. And as I promised you, we're going to have our short mindfulness exercise before we um, end this session. But I just need to know if it has an audio because the video a while ago didn't have an audio. Maybe the people from Tag Pros can tell me if this has if you can hear this. Does it have an audio? Okay. I was told that it does not have an audio again. So I think I need help here. How do I put audio? How do I put the audio back? Okay. Let me see. Okay, but it's okay if this won't play now. Maybe I can just give the link to the Tag Pros people so they can share it with the participants so you can watch it on your own. So it's a simple mindfulness exercise, and for those of you who are not yet into meditation, maybe this is a good start for you to begin the practice because this is very simple, this is very relatable, and this is just for I think less than 5 minutes. So again, I don't know how to work on the audio of this one, but I can just share the link so you can watch it on your own. So that ends my presentation for today. So these are the references, and thank you for listening, everyone.
And thank you so much, Coach Tin. And we apologize for the technical problems. We've been having some technical concerns a while ago, and we can say that we are back. We thank DepEd's ICO's FB page and the YouTube channel. We were able to push through with. So, for those who were watching a while ago in Tag Pros FB page, we had some problems, so we had to cut on that. On that. Well, we have to cut on that on Tag Pros FB, but then we relaunch. So you
Oh,
might see two videos right now. That's okay. But we are back. We're back on track, and we were able to make sure that everything is has been posted online. All right. So thank you, Coach Tin. That was very enriching. If our Tag Pros teachers who are watching us right now, I'm pretty sure that you felt that this session has been very different. For the past few months, we've been talking about the rigor of assessment, right? The rigor of assessment, the challenges in online learning, and we are just so thankful Tin has actually, presented a different side of education, which tama ba Tin, we don't usually talk about because always focus on the academic side. Then we have some questions here,
okay.
right? So this is open forum. So Tin is here to clarify some thoughts. If you have your questions there, please throw them now. This is the time to clarify things out from RJ Apostol. RJ Apostol has been watching us for the longest time. He's been really very participative in all our webinars. Paano kung minsan po ang disposition mo others agree because they have their own perspective, or others disagree because they have their own perspective. Um, in English, because we have international audience, what if in for your disposition, others do not agree into your own
Uh,
perspective? So parang I'm not quite sure if this is correct. RJ, you can comment if that is the question that we have is correct. What if others disagree
with what they
with your
see from you.
perspective? Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. In terms of your
Yeah.
disposition.
You know what, you were able to mention that a while ago, no? We have to be able to we have to learn to disagree with one another without really disrespecting each other. So that's actually possible, no? It's possible that you have a different disposition and other people are not yet ready to appreciate that. But just as long as that's making you happy and you're not hurting other people with what you're doing, right? We can always check that. We can check if the quality of our relationship with that kind of disposition is good. So you can say that, hey, there's nothing wrong with showing this disposition, even if other people do not appreciate that, because at the end of the day, your goal is not to please everyone, but to be happy with yourself, right? Jim, you were cut off a while ago. I don't
Yeah, I don't
It's
know
really
why.
okay.
Uh,
Yeah, okay. I hope I was able to answer that question. We can't please everyone. So you always have to check your intentions, and of course the factors that motivate you for behaving that way. Just as long as you're not hurting other people, ha. You're not hurting other people, or you're not disrespecting other people. So it's definitely okay.
all right. Thank you, Coach Tin. Another question: is mindfulness a replacement for social emotional learning, or are they connected with each other, or what's their connection?
Actually,
This
when
is
you
from
talk about
Mardelis Tugonon Huahotor.
hi po, when you talk about social emotional learning, mindfulness is part of it, because definitely, okay, when we say social emotional learning, we're talking about these competencies, no? Parang self-awareness, self-management, social awareness, um what else? Responsible decision making, and all those, no? You will not be able to enact all or to practice all these competencies if you are not mindful. So I think if there's a trait that we have to really have for ourselves, it's mindfulness, because it's easier to um, act on all these competencies and parang show everyone that it's really working. Social emotional learning is really working, because it's helping us come up with, decisions that are well discerned and responsible, diba? Right.
Yeah, and if I may add, I love what Tin has mentioned. Like even as an adult, for us teachers, we before we make a crucial decision, for example, about a student, we mindfulness could actually help us to stop, right? Pause. Let's be mindful of what really is happening. Mindfulness is not just parang reflection. It's more than
Yes.
that. It's more than that. So I
Yes.
hope Tin could talk about it further, because our next question from Christy is similar. It's on the same track. Why is mindfulness really so important at this time of the pandemic? Mindfulness for teachers, for students.
Mm-mm. Again, going back to what I said a while ago, a lot of people are actually intimidated with the word mindfulness, because they associate mindfulness with a meditation, with, parang hour long of meditation. But you see, not everyone kasi is for parang is comfortable doing that. But of course, meditation is part of mindfulness exercise. But again, just like what I presented a while ago, there are a lot of forms of mindfulness. One is you being mindful of the stories you allow to enter your head. Diba? So if you're the type of person to focus on the negative aspect of the situations we are in, I think it's time to practice mindfulness and um, parang be deliberate with thinking of the other side of that situation. For example, this pandemic, we can say that this pandemic has really caused us so much anxiety and fears and all. But if we focus on those things, I don't think we'll be able to move forward and see that there are also beautiful things happening during this time, right? You realizing that you can actually go beyond your own pains and your own struggles just to reach out to your students and just to tell your students, hey, I do want to understand what you're going through, right? And it takes mindfulness to even parang authentically show that disposition to other people. Yeah, I hope I was
Yeah.
able to answer that.
Thanks, Coach Tin. I think we're gonna shift because I think our teachers do understand what it means to really, handhold students right now. We're trying to get to shift because a lot of her questions right now speaks of the community where we are, part of,
Mm.
professional relationship, superior, subordinate relationship. Our one of the first question that really came out really was from Justine, and she says that what if the reason that make you more stressed are your superiors? And Angelita Theodoro also has this similar question. What are you going to do if the stressor is your workplace and the people around you? So we're expanding the first question. The source of stress is not just your boss, but the people who sees you as a threat. So like what we've
Mm.
said a while ago, and even environment, the whole thing itself. So Tin, what's your take on that?
I'm reminded of this book. I'm sure that some of our audience was able to see that book already. The Ikigai book, that small little book, no, blue book. It talks about, of course, your passion as a person, and this passion, and how this passion is affecting the world around you, and how you're able to monetize this passion. But what's surprising about that book is the discussion of the importance of community. They studied, the authors actually went for an immersion there, no, parang they want to know why this certain group of Japanese people live longer than the rest of the people of the world. So they studied yung mga Centennial people in Japan, and they discovered that it's really the community that's making them um that's making them um that's making them live a joyful life. So I can just imagine, no, the anxiety, the stress that these people are I mean, at least for these people who ask the question, so what if it's your community causing that stress and all, while other communities are highlighting the importance of being in a community that's very supportive, that's very understanding, and that's actually their parang way of living a meaningful and joyful life. Now the question is, because there are things beyond our control, right? We have to always remember that there are things beyond our control. If you think that the things that are happening in your community are beyond your control, then it's time to tell yourself, set aside all these thoughts. For example, Okay. Can you do something about salaries at this point? Because it's also stressful, no? Kung hindi na-augment yung salary and all. Can you do something about it in your within your power? Maybe not. Maybe you can you can share how you feel about it. That's actually, that's within your control, no, sharing how you see things and making sure that the community hopefully is a safe space for teachers to actually express all these concerns, right? But sometimes nga, it's also a part of reality of other teachers that they can't even feel safe in their community. I think it's time to ask yourself, no, what can I do in this situation? Again, considering the things beyond your control and the things within your control. Because it's so stressful to think of things, no, na, yeah, I can change that, I can do this, I can do that. Tapos, pag tinanong mo yung sarili mo, is it within your control? Because if it's not, then it's a useless anxiety and worry that you are allowing inside you. So check that within your control, beyond your control. If it's within my control, then I can express. Maybe I can tell them how I feel about this. But if it's beyond your control, set it aside because it's not your responsibility to think about all these things. And if you think that it's really taking a toll in my well-being, then ask yourself, is it still worth it to stay in this kind of community, 'di ba? Kasi we all want to grow as a person. We all want to be joyful as a person. That's our that's our nature, right? But if that community is not giving that opportunity to you anymore after expressing your thoughts and feelings about the situation, then maybe it's time to look for a better environment for you.
I love I love what Tin has mentioned. The community, the environment, really affects the way we perform, the way we appreciate everything every day that is happening. I think the more the younger generation right now, they're more verbal in describing this kinds of community, toxic culture,
Yeah.
toxic community, and I think I don't know, Coach Tin, if this is something that you have observed also. It's really challenging for a lot of schools, well, teachers in schools, to really, there's a challenge in a way, in such a way that it's been really challenging for a lot of teachers to voice out their concerns, especially if the prevailing culture in that community, in the school community, is it's something that is threatening or not
Yeah.
open to changes, or even the kind of community that, it's it's a community where I I'm not, well, it's so sad to say this, but there are really some communities that operate out of, fear,
Yes.
just follow what is
Yeah.
being told of you because you don't have the power, they over the things that they do, or things like that. It's a reality, and mind you,
Yes.
it's not just in school. This one happens
Yes.
in different settings. So I love
Yes.
what it has mentioned a while ago. It's very important to ask, is this still worth it? It's this
Yes.
still worth it? I think that was a very wonderful question
And I
from you.
think
Of course,
we all deserve to be in a safe environment, a safe, psychologically safe environment for everyone. Because at this point, I think people have realized that we cannot compromise our well-being, because our well-being, our totality is what we bring in dun sa trabaho natin, sa workplaces natin. And once that's compromised, I don't think we'll be able to give our 100% to our children. Or I don't think we'll be
yeah.
able to really build or even contribute to that community that we all want, right? Because
Mhm.
if you have all those negative thoughts already and parang feeling 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 you see a lot of injustices that's happening, in where you are at this point, I don't think it's going to be helpful if you don't detach yourself from that situation and see, okay, is this really a place for me to grow? Am I really helping the people around me grow also with it, with this kind of disposition? Right, so
Yeah.
it requires mindfulness, that part, to be mindful of how you're really feeling and how you want to move forward, no, move forward from where you are at this point.
Yeah, there's a nice comment from Susan here. So I think if you have that kind of toxic community or environment, maybe you just have to ignore it and look for another um, environment community that will boost your personality, your well-being for better living. I think that was a wonderful idea. If we can control it, set it aside, and think of our well-being more, that's Mayang crystal. Wow, Mayang crystal clear. It's so crystal clear. And Manalita, one of our avid participants here, reality, people don't leave jobs, they leave toxic work cultures. Or, mind you, then I think this has been something that has been spreading. There's a study that says, especially for the younger generations, talk about the millennials and Gen Z. The millennials and Gen Z who are joining the workforce, they really don't join for salary, they don't
Yeah.
apply for salary.
Yes.
They apply for that safe space, like what the kind of culture, a very good boss who encourages them to become leaders also, a community that collaborates with them, walang agawan ng credits, di ba? That's
Yes.
what we're looking for. Then you want to talk
Actually,
about that?
I was reading, I was just reading a book a while ago, no, and it talks about community. I'm so into really parang how can we really be in a healthy community, no? And this book is saying that in a healthy community there should not be a competition. Okay, when we say competition, ha, kasi it parang um parang in relation to rewards and punishment, no. Uh, the book is saying that we can be in that kind of community wherein we don't focus on what's lacking from the teachers, or you don't right away reward the good things that you see from the teacher. Of course, it's parang it's too radical to say no, no, do not reward good things and all, but it takes it takes really a shift of mindset here, no, thinking that the reason why we are into rewards is because we want to stand out, we want to stand out, and we want those kinds of behavior to be rewarded. But if you are in a community wherein these things are not highlighted, 'di ba? No competition. But of course, you always have to strive your best kasi you're part of that community, and you want that community to be the best community that you can be by being the best member that you can be also, right? So sometimes it happens also that way, no, Jim, that we are into looking for a good community, but sometimes you don't check our own contribution to this kind of community that we are in. Diba? Right? So we have to
Yeah.
be mindful of all these things. We communicate, parang we criticize the system, we criticize the community and all, but sometimes you don't also check how we are behaving in terms of, I mean, how we are showing our disposition that actually contributes to the culture of the community. And talking
Yeah.
about millennials and Gen Z people, no, they actually look for meaning. So if they don't see that in a workplace, no meaning, when we say they're looking for meaning, nandyan yung mentoring, nandyan yung coaching, nandyan yung, di ba? Parang it's really building meaningful relationship with these people that will help them thrive in this, ano, I mean, thrive in in any situation that they are in. So I agree that salary or money is not everything for these group of people, but really meaningful relationship. And when we say meaningful relationship, again, look at the culture of the community there. So
Yes. And oh, by the way, just to clarify, we're not saying that, you look for a perfect school community. There's
oh
no
yeah,
perfect school community.
definitely.
No. Uh, yeah,
Once you
there's no
get
perfect.
in, once you get in that community, that makes it imperfect na kasi we're all imperfect, right? So we are
Yeah.
not imperfect. But a community that will help us grow. And you
Yeah.
have to be able to, tell yourself that I am willing to feel the discomfort to be able to have that community that I want for myself. Kasi sometimes, yun na nga, we have the ideal community in our mind, but we are not willing to do the work to actually achieve that kind of culture that we like, right?
Yeah. Perfect answer. Sabi nga ni Sarah's mentioned here, we can't change the attitude of toxic people, but we can change our attitude in response to their behaviors. Set a good example and be the light for others. Yeah, and look at looks. That's being
Yeah.
mindful as well. Very good answer,
Yes. Agree.
right? So, uh, spread love those toxic people around you. Let them feel that at the moment of our life, what is important is that we pass it on and we're still alive. Look for the brilliant effects of this pandemic in our life. Appreciate everything in a positive way. And from our dear director Marge,
Hi,
from
Miss
Depth and
Marge.
is here with us. A nurturing community produces loving and responsible citizens. Yeah. Oh,
I
I've
agree.
traveled. I traveled so many times with Director March when we visited school, and there is this observation that in there are a lot of schools in the Philippines where it's not just one teacher who is good. We always see individual teachers, being standing up, being awarded. But Director March and I, when we were traveling in the Philippines, we've noticed that there are schools na kahit walang, alam mo yung outstanding teacher, but when you look at their community, it's like everyone is so good because they help each other. I think that's a wonderful way of looking at,
Actually, that was
yeah,
that was the kind of description from the book that I was reading a while ago when it comes to community living. The reason why people strive so hard to be noticed is because they're working for the reward, not actually parang for the contribution to that community that we all want to achieve. So parang sinasabi, parang equal lang muna tayo at this point. You can't even parang recognize sino yung leader or sino, because everyone is empowered, right? Everyone is
yeah.
empowered. And
One more,
when you have that empowerment in your, that self leadership also. And self
yeah.
leadership requires mindfulness.
Okay. Coach Tin, one more question. I'm
Okay.
not quite sure if this is something that we could answer. Uh, I think some of our audience are really talagang humuhugot from their own experiences, and that's okay. And that's okay. We love those kinds of conversation. Is it okay to turn down your boss because you cannot do the task being asked from you? It is so depressing to do jobs which you cannot really fulfill. Or another side of that, track of question: what if we say something which you think is not right, but then you are branded as against school administration?
Mm.
So
You know
very
what?
very challenging question. So I'm
Yes.
not so sure then how you would, but we would love to hear your thoughts.
When you are faced with a situation that requires difficult decision, always go back to the things you value. Let your values decide, 'di ba, for the situation. If you think that what you are being asked is against your values, why would you do it? Because you know what, doing things apart from your values is, I don't know. it's difficult to sustain it, right? It's difficult to sustain because, again, at the end of the day, your role is not to please the people around you. Although, of course, when we talk about work environment, you have to follow orders from your boss, you have to follow your coordinators and all. Nandun na tayo. But again, when you are faced with a difficult situation that requires a decision on your part, and you feel na, wait, this is questionable, parang I don't think I'll be able to do that, that's a red flag already. The reason why you're asking yourself that is because you are fully aware that it's against your values, and if it's against your values, it's so difficult to sustain that. Okay, it's so difficult to sustain that. You will always always use that as, ginawa ko na nga to sa inyo tapos ganyan pa, because you did not operate from your values. Right? So ako, always check what you value. That's why it's very important to be reminded of the things you value, because you have to operate from that. Living a mindful and joyful life is a life that works around your values.
Yes. Coach Tin, we have a very high engagement level right now. So I think it's
Wow.
really, yeah, it really touches the core of being a teacher right now. And we want to expand. We're not just teachers. We might have a different role in other communities also, not just in their school
Mhm.
community, even in the family, right? And
But you
very
see,
interesting.
being a
Yeah,
teacher is a very crucial role because you're really dealing with lives, no students. You're
yeah.
facing students every day, and these students are, the future citizens of the of our country, and we have to, yeah, we have to be able to really empower these students, and it is so impossible to empower these students if you are not empowered yourselves. Diba? So
Wonderfully said, Tin. And I just want to pick up what you've said to wrap up our open forum. We have a lot of questions. A lot of them are very much, integral to our lives as teachers. I just want to take this opportunity to emphasize the idea of values. We teach our students to, uphold the values that they treasure, values, whether it's religion-based values, universal truths, patriotic values. In the end, this will guide our decision. I think we need to remind ourselves, like what Tin has mentioned a while ago, in everything that we do, are we upholding the values that we treasure and consider important? So there. Thank you so much, Tin. This has been a very wonderful, very interesting, not just interesting, actually, very engaging discussion. A lot of wisdom coming in from our participants, and it really touches the core of being a teacher. Tin, any final word that you want to say to our participants before we let you go?
oh, definitely. The question, what's love got to do with it? It, it,
Sorry, Tin. Can you sing thou? Can you sing thou?
baka mawala na yung credibility natin if I sing, no? What's love got to do with it? It's all about love, guys. It's all about love. You practicing self-love, and when you're able to really internalize that self-love, it's so easy for you to share that love to your students, to your co-teachers, to the entire community. So can you imagine that love that you're nurturing within can actually make this country make this country great again. So go love yourself and love the community that you are in. Thank you, Jim. Thank you for everyone. Thank you for your participation.
Thank you so much, Coach Tin, and thank you to our participants. We say goodbye to Coach Tin, and it has been a very engaging, very enlightening discussion on self-care, self-love, and we hope that everyone takes something, one or two, or maybe everything that Coach Tin has shared to us. So, bye, Tin. We'll see you next time on Tag Pros. Thank you so much. Take care. All right. So that was a very wonderful session, webinar, and open forum. We're very much happy that you have really found it interesting and useful. Thank you so much to everyone who has been really, really participative right now. So tell us about what you thought of today's event in the evaluation form. The link is presented on the screen as well. So may I ask the technical team to show our evaluation link. Answering the evaluation form is necessary for claiming e-certificates and for getting an entry to the GCash raffle draw sponsored by Globe, our very generous sponsor or co-presenter. Remember, you have only 1 week to answer the evaluation form to get an e-certificate. You can watch and be part of Team Replay if you want to go back again to the ideas of Tin that she has been sharing. Please do so. You have 1 week. So we have the 1 week rule. We're doing this out of fairness to our teachers who are spending time to spend their Saturday afternoon with everyone. But do know that you have 1 week to watch the replay and be part of the raffle draw and get an e-certificate. So thank you everyone for being here with us. And this ends our webinar workshop. I hope to see you all again at our next webinar workshop, where we will be talking about agency, grit, and resilience of students through the pandemic with Dr. Ferdinand Blackaflor Pitagan. So Dr. Pitagan, the Dean of the School of Teacher Education at the National Teachers College, will be with us next Saturday to talk about the student side of agency, grit, and resilience. So I hope that you spend your Saturday afternoon with us once again, just chilling around and listening to us. So as always, keep updated with Tag Pros Education by following our official social media pages. Invite your family and friends as well. Finally, teach your passion and be a Tag Pros Education teacher partner. So I just want to spend some time right now. I just want to spend some time, and I just want to show this to everyone. Maybe our technical team could show our survey. Tag Pros Children. This is Tag Pros Children. It's our nonprofit organization, and we have been presenting webinar series for everyone. And we will continue to do so because it's part of our goal that in order for us to help the children of the future, we are actually going to help the teachers who are first and foremost the second parents of our teachers in the Philippines, not just in the Philippines, but in the whole world. We want to express this information that we also have our own, we have also our sister organization or sister company called Tag Pros Education. Tag Pros Education will, if you look at the screen, that's the evaluation form. For Tag Pros Teacher Partner, we are actually looking for partner teachers who will be part of our teacher partnership program. So we will speak more about this, but we will be posting a survey for teachers who want to partner with Tag Pros Education in order for teachers to be able to reach more students to teach your passion. So for example, if you're a teacher and you're passionate about playing the guitar, playing the piano, or doing live stream or baking or cooking, we're actually creating a platform where teachers could create their courses and be online and reach out to students, not just in the Philippines, but around the world. So we hope that you take some opportunity to look at this survey also. It's the Tag Pros Teacher Partner, and we are launching our our company, Tag Pros Education Marketplace, on the coming months, around August or September, and we hope to partner with you for as our partner teacher. So again, please make sure that you go to www.tagpros.org for the evaluation form for webinar series. In the evaluation form, we are also having some questions for parents, for dear parents who would want to explore online learning for their children. So again, may we ask, can we look at the evaluation form is at www.tagpros.org. So some of you are asking, this is the evaluation form is on www.tagpros.org. The technical team says that it's already open, so you may input your answers now. Again, look at your screen. It's www.tagpros.org. That's where you will be able to find the evaluation link. It's there. It's in the website. Okay, so there, and then one more, another link which we will be showing to you also is the partner teachers link. So if you want to participate as our partner in a future program that we are developing, this is the Tagpros Education Teacher Partner Program sign up. We will be posting about this, and we hope to see you on our teacher partnership program. So again, thank you so much. Thank you so much for being here with us, and we hope to see you next week with Dr. Pitagan as our guest speaker on agency resiliency for the students. So thank you, everyone. Stay safe and make sure that you are always healthy and well. See you next week. Bye-bye.
Transition to the new normal, we have left others behind. We need to reimagine and redesign our educational system. With the collective effort of schools, sponsors, and Tagpros learning management system, and core of passionate teachers, we can deliver free education and champion the cause of our students. Together, we would be able to teach, inspire, and serve, because Tagpros believes that education is a right all children deserve.
When the pandemic was officially announced and the whole country was in a lockdown, we were thinking, how are we going to end the school year?
How can St. Peter's College of Vermont continue on with its mission to provide holistic quality education?
I was really grasping for answers and talking to experts, consulting to parents and all. It was really a terrible moment.
It also didn't help that the pandemic started in the middle of the academic year, and so we had to act fast.
Others have suggested that maybe we can temporarily close our school for a while, but some of us have this kind of hope that we can just carry on.
We want to bring our education in a different level, and we know that technology is the answer.
By using virtual platforms, we were able to continue this year with a partnership with Globe through Brightspace.
When we got to Brightspace, we were able to continue a consistent quality of education. And when that arrived, we were now able to have a stable class. We were able to submit activities freely and at our own pace.
It has really helped our teachers in order to deliver their modules, their content to our students.
The ease of sharing content, real-time assessment, and structured learning process in the system of Brightspace made the learning life of every member of our community exciting and better.
Through Brightspace, we were able to see that yes, we can restore some semblance of normal life with the aid of technology.
This pandemic brought a really huge change which pushed us to innovate.
One of the best investments you can make is Brightspace for you to use to deliver quality education to your students.